What's going on, y'all? The NCZ3 here, bringing you episode 16 in our free-to-play series. And in this video, I'll be beating Skirmish 7. I'll also go over my talents, research, buildings, and the future direction I'll be taking with this account. So stay tuned. Don't be afraid. Let's go ahead and dive right into this. We've got our army attack buff on. Let's go ahead and get a scout of this lava plateau, Skirmish 7. And it's saying here for the battle tips, beware Monica's flame boulders, use cavalry with ranged or siege engines as options, and they're all really good options, okay? It's going to have one hero, or one general as I call them, of every single troop type. And the significance in that, and I'll show you here in just a second. Let me get out of this. And the significance in that is this ability right here. Every hero has a tactic that they use while they're fighting, okay? Monica's happens to be Fire Blast, and Prima Donna is Death's Melody, and Divine Punishment is Child of Lights, okay? And they're tied down to the type of troop that they are. So I just happen to know right off the bat that Monica is a siege, Shade's an infantry, Death Archer is ranged, and Night Raven is cavalry, okay? So they're all going to use 120% of their squad attack every so often throughout the battle, okay? So that's something you need to pay attention to when you're fighting somebody, if you get a scout on them and you know what kind of generals they're using, okay? So the boons it's going to have is an army increase, the defense, okay? Now, the hard counter to army HP or army defense is army attack. And the reason being is because the values aren't the same. For some reason, attack is just so much better in this game than defense or hit points could ever be. The castle wall HP is a little troublesome at 10,000. For some reason, the skirmish HP, for some reason, I don't know why, the walls, they seem to just last forever, in my opinion anyways, unless you've got an overwhelming troop size. But, when I raid somebody like on my main account, their walls go down just like that, even at more than 10,000 hit points. The type of traps, well, the traps are pretty useless after the wall goes down, so I wouldn't really worry about the traps so much as long as that wall comes down, because it neutralizes those traps. But the enemy army size, okay, the 12,600 doesn't seem like a huge number, but they're all tier 3 troops, and we're going to be using tier 2 troops in order to beat this. But here's the troop makeup, okay? It's going to have rail guard and stealth snipers. That's a really good combo because if you were to use like cavalry ranged, basically they counter each other out, and I think ranged is probably a staple you should be using. And in my opinion, I already covered this in my main account, but for every 1 infantry and 1 cavalry, I make 2 ranged. So basically, I make, for every 1 infantry, I make a ranged. For every 1 cavalry, I make a ranged. So let's say I have 355k infantry, 355k or whatever cavalry. I've got over 700,000 ranged, okay, because those other guys are my meat shields. So let's go ahead and get this attack, right? Now, I'm going to clear my selection here because I really do want to be able to take these walls down pretty quickly, but I got to do it tastefully. So let's go like this, okay? This Child of Light's going to give me small HP boost to my cavalry, and I'm having a hard time deciding here what I'm going to do. So let's go right here. So I got a cavalry arranged, and I really do want an infantry. I don't really want to waste it on the siege because I don't have very many siege weapons. So let's go ahead. Yeah. Man. I really want to use, let's go ahead and use this, okay? Let's go ahead and use the Oathkeeper. We're going to use these we're going to use these, I can't even talk, man. Shit. We're going to use this hero setup because it's going to have our cavalry, our ranged, and our infantry. Let's go ahead and confirm and clear these. We're going to be using 9,196 gladiators. Obviously, you guys can see the numbers, 9,000, 9,000, 9,000, and I'm hoping I can just swarm this place, okay? But we're still going to be using about 3,000, 4,000. My bad, about 4,500, somewhere in that ballpark range of tier 1 troops. Well, because they haven't been finished up. Let's go ahead and clank these axes and let's go ahead and see what the fight says. And I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. Let's water this land with blood of our enemy. Of the enemy, I mean. Okay, well, I'm sorry, guys. I know I goofed that one up. But let's go ahead and take a peek here. We're going to go ahead and just observe because this wall... Oh, sweet. This wall's going down so quick. Yes. But our losses, we've already lost 2,000 troops, it looks like, or close-ish to that. But we're so far, we're actually winning. Like, we're actually winning the trade-off here, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case. These guys should be retreating, but I was almost at a million might. But, yeah, that's not going to be the case. Okay, so you see these abilities right here? Like, whenever they grow big, like right there, you see that? The Oath Keeper was using his special. And right there, Shade, he's using his special. That squad attack I was talking to you guys about, okay, that's that ability that they're using. As long as they're deployed with those kinds of troops, they will use those skills, okay? And so far, yeah, wow, we did a really good job here. 3,600 casualties. That's probably all of our tier 1 troops, or a good deal of them. So let's go ahead and hit this attack button yet again. And if you guys were ever curious, if you scout, it'll say 0 wall HP, okay? And so they've only got 5,250 stealth snipers left, so this should be an easy cleaning, basically. And so yeah, we lost pretty much all of our tier 1 troops. That's no surprise there. And we lost some of our tier 2 troops, but it's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and clank these axes. Oh, dadgummit, I was going to change out Monica because I don't need to use her because I don't need the siege weapons. But pay attention to these, to the generals, okay? When they grow bigger, like right here, the Death Archer, she just used her special ability, the tactic that she uses when she's deployed with her troops. And range are extremely fragile, guys, in case you didn't know that. That's why you need to have a meat shield for them, because if not, let's say 300k ranged versus 300k cavalry, those cavalry are actually going to win that fight, just because that's the way it is. Like, the range, they do a good amount of damage, but they have very low hit points and defense, it seems. And so we're going to get the slam dunk on these guys. I hope they don't retreat, because that'd suck. But let's see here. Come on. Ah, sweet. Yes. And we won, guys. Look at that. 300 casualties. We've killed these guys. They suffered 5,800, but it's not a big deal. The player EXP is really nice, and this is unlocked, okay? 1 second. Let's get into character here.
You have brought peace to Lava Plateau. Now you can further enhance your troops' defense, or your turf's defense, I mean.
Guys, I can't even read today. Alright, so it says here I can build the manor, the barracks, or the infirmaries here in these slots. And, cool, I got to level up on a hero. So what I plan on doing personally is actually just building all manors here. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. Let's go ahead and take a peek at these talents really fast, shall we? Let's go ahead and look at these talents, shall we? I started on the right side of my talent tree, and I had no desire whatsoever to go to the left side. I put as minimal points as possible to move down. So 2 points on the right side to move down to the next tier, and it's usually 3 points on the left side. But I'll get into that in just a second, okay? So 2 points into food, 2 points into stone. I maxed out my construction speed, maxed out my research speed, because early on in the game, and especially even mid-game too, you're going to be doing a lot of building and researching, so it's really good to have those two maxed. And so I got the timber production 1, ore production 1, and so here's where I got to start spending 5 points because they're level 2 talents, and that goes true for both sides, okay? Left side needs 5 points and right side needs 5 points. So food production, stone production, ore production. And here's where it gets a little bit interesting, okay? I got the construction speed 2, I maxed that out, and research speed 2, and I maxed that out. And the reason why you do those two, and I didn't go any further, by the way, but the reason why you max out the construction speed and research 1 and 2 is because it gives you a free 105% construction speed and research speed, okay? So you guys really should be focusing on those kinds of things. I am building my bruiser build currently because right now the K1 is really at peace. And so I don't really have to worry about producing tons and tons and tons of resources in my base. And it doesn't really matter what guild I'm in because I know K1 does not tolerate bullies, basically. And if you're getting bullied, maybe seek out the help of a bigger guild and say, hey, we're getting bullied. Can you guys please help us out? All the top guilds, they don't stand for bullying, okay? I know that much for sure. So after I got my research speed 2 maxed out, I went to the left side, 2 points into squad offense to move down, but now it cost me 3 points. So 3 cavalry, 3 trap, and then I got my training speed 1 maxed out, and then I came back around, ranged offense, infantry offense, and then squad defense and squad health. And essentially, when I got down here to the rank 2 abilities, or the rank 2 talents, you need 5 points, right? So ranged, infantry, cavalry, and basically, when I can unlock this training speed 2, I will actually respec. I'll hit this talent reset button, and I will spend some guild coins, basically. And yeah, let me show you why, okay? So 15, let me see here, 18 points, okay, is what it costs to go from here basically to here. It's 18 points total, okay? And in 18 points, I'm only getting 30% training speed. So let's go ahead and take a peek here. 18 points is going to get me 25, and you're thinking to yourself, well, that's not very impressive. You're actually losing 5% VNNCZ3. And I'm like, yeah, I totally understand, okay? On my next level, okay, I should be getting 5 points. And so that'll put me to 23 right here. So I'm actually gaining 9%. But if I was to come back around, I need to have 10 points to equal up. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I will max out my training speed 2 first, and then I will go back and spend any points I have left over to get my training speed 1 maxed out, because it's just more value to go to the level 2s than to get to the level 1s. And the same thing goes for any of these constructions down here. I mean, my bad, the productions, like the timber, the ore, the stone, the gold. Don't max out any of the level 1s. Go straight to the level 3s, okay? Because they're going to give you the most value. Like right down here, 288%. The same thing goes for the gathering. Don't max out gathering 1. Max out your gathering 2, because that's going to give you the largest bonus, and you can sink the most amount of points into it. But let's go ahead and look at this research, shall we? Research is a necessity to having a really strong account. It's also one of the most diverse things you can spend your speed ups and resources on. You've got your economy, your defense, military, and monster hunt, and upgrade defenses tabs, okay? So you've got all these tabs, but hey, VNNCZ3, which tab is the most important to upgrade at first? And real talk, man, I would honestly say your monster hunt is your most important, because it's going to allow you to support your guild and your own account. It's also going to let your heroes level up much faster. But end game, the most important tab is military, because this is a military-based game. I personally started off with my monster hunt tab, and as you can see here, I've literally maxed out all of my monster hunt for my academy level, and to get any more, well, I basically need to have an Academy level 14 or higher to get any of these things unlocked, okay? The next tab I paid attention to is actually my military tab. Because I just beat Skirmish 7, I can chill on all this military research. But again, I maxed out on all my research for this tab. And then, you know, your defense, it's not really important, okay? Your defense tab right here, in my opinion, is a filler tab. Meaning, when you're maxed out on your economy, or maxed out on your military, maxed out on your monster hunt, or all three of those, okay, then you go to your defenses tabs, and then you say, okay, well, which ones can I improve on right now? And so, basically, right now, I've got all of my defense tab maxed out right now, because, well, you know, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was just waiting for things to upgrade. And so my economy tab, it's not exactly maxed out right now, but it will be, okay? So for my level 6 researches, I need basically my current academy level is level 11, so I'm set to research all this stuff, and it'll take me, you know, 2 hours here, let's see here, 11 hours there, so essentially half a day for each of these. And I'm not in a rush to research the stone, timber, and metal harvesting, all the harvesting. I'm not in a rush to do that until I'm about to go to bed. And then when I sleep, I will research those, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to research a 2-hour, you know, research thing, like whatever the case may be, like this vault management, okay? It takes 2 hours, 47 minutes. It doesn't make any sense for me to research this while I'm sleeping. I would much rather say, okay, well, I'm getting ready for bed. Let me go ahead and hit this research up right here. I'll spend a speed up or two or whatever I need to, or maybe even gems if I absolutely have to, and then I'll finish the speed up. I'll finish this, whatever it is that I'm researching, and then at that point, I will go ahead and research those. So that's a really big pro tip, and that's a super good way to stay efficient in this game, okay? And currently, I'm trying to max out my upgraded defenses tab, and I can go all the way down, I think, to, let's see here, is it trap retrieval 2? Yep, I think it's trap, I think this is where I stop at right here, because the strength, oh, never mind. So yeah, it is the trap retrieval 2, and I get these right here. So essentially, when I max out all of these right here, I'll go back to my economy tab and max those out. And so, yeah, I'm just not in a rush to get to castle level 25 and have all that jazz. But I'll talk about that here in a bit. Let's go ahead and look at these buildings, shall we? Let's talk buildings. Drake voice. What buildings do you prioritize first on your free-to-play account? Well, here's the answer, guys. I prioritize my manors, because the manors are going to absolutely help me with my troop training time, and they're also going to be able to produce a lot of gold for me. I then focus on all of my resource tiles, because, guys, I cannot preach to you enough. that you really do need a solid base, like a well-established like foundation to your base, because if you ever do get attacked, if you're in a guild that that doesn't share resources, or they just don't have enough to share, it's really hard to recover. So having a good established, I want to say, like foundation is the key to having a successful base. I want to say that I upgrade all of the other buildings though as needed. So whenever I need a castle level, or I need to get more research done, or whatever the case may be, I upgrade those buildings as needed. But one thing I will say here is that I highly discourage rushing to castle level 25, because everybody's got this crazy notion that you need to rush up there because for what reason? And here's the most common answers I'm given. Because they want to be able to hold more relics, or because they want this juicy, let's see here, this juicy research speed right here, this 30%. But real talk, man, most players that are free to play and that do this game cannot rush those castle levels up to 25 and then rush up their academy or their workshop or all the other buildings that's needed to capitalize on those perks. Hopefully you all liked the video, and if you did, please hit that like button. If you feel like I could have done something else or better, please leave a comment. I read all the comments and I appreciate all the feedback you guys give me. If you're not already a subscriber, then I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, because I upload daily Lords mobile content. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Be safe, but above all, stay classy.